On the President's address, a member of the Lok Sabha said, I think the government has highlighted our basic maladies. We have to take steps on many fronts. For example, we shall have to effect a radical increase in production. We must secure the economic and proper utilization of the existing or available stocks. And thirdly, we must have a realistic fixation of the agricultural prices so as to achieve a need based and scientific utilization of agricultural land as between food and cash crops. And above all, there should be the installation of the military type of discipline in the entire administrative setup, in the food ministry, and in the procurement of food grains and in the method of growth of food crops. These things will not happen if we have ministries sitting here at the center and doing table work without knowing what is happening in various states. These will not happen if we merely set up a machinery and more committees, but we shall have to get directly in touch with the fields. Further, we shall have to fix priorities and also the time limits for achievements of these priority targets. Another aspect which has also an effect on the rise in prices relates to the imbalance between the prices of food crops and those of cash crops. We shall also have to evolve a proper balance between the food crops and the other essential commodities which the farmers require. This question of price stabilization has been talked about a lot and it has been considered a lot, but unfortunately it has not been implemented. It would therefore suggest that the question of setting up some sort of committee or price stabilization board to go into the proper balance between the prices of food crops, cash crops, and essential commodities will have to be taken up seriously. I'm glad that government have been able to highlight one or two other important matters in the president's address. One of them relates to family planning. We have many theoretical things in regard to family planning. We have heard all sorts of lectures being given, all sorts of medicines, etc., are being supplied. But I feel that this is not enough. We have to bear in mind the other aspects of family planning too. It is widely rumored that certainly minority communities are openly propagating against family planning so that they could increase their numbers for political reasons. If that be so, I feel the government will have to take cognizance of it and take remedial action. Since I am running short of time, I shall only confine myself to certain suggestions regarding family planning. One of the most effective ways of encouraging family planning would be to introduce some deterrent taxes and to grant concession to smaller families in various fields. We have seen deterrent taxes in various financial measures, whether by way of direct taxes or by way of indirect taxes. Similarly, if family planning has to succeed to some extent, I would submit that we shall have to consider the imposition of deterrent taxes and extend some concessions to smaller families. My second suggestion is that we have to introduce some sort of education in this regard. In fact, we have been taking the help of certain educational, social, and religion leaders towards this end, and probably that could be accelerated further. Thirdly, urgent steps should be taken to investigate and to take sound action against the reported propaganda by certain sections of population and communities against population control for political reasons. Now, I would like to briefly to touch on the planning commission which has been briefly touched upon also in the president's address. The president has indicated in his address that a reorganization of the planning commission is going to be done. I have been saying that I have done so many times on the floor of this house also that so far as planning commission's theory part is concerned, it has been unrealistic, at least as far as the hill areas are concerned. Therefore, if the government are now considering reorganization of the planning commission, at least one proper step that they should take is to see that in the reorganization, the hilly areas which have so far been neglected get their due position and place. I entirely agree that there has to be proper coordination between the two. Time being short, I will not go into many of the suggestions which I would like to give. For this, I will take some other time. Probably, if government issues a questionnaire to all the members of the house as well as to the state governments, we could give our view in the matter. But if immediately something has to be done, I would suggest that no non-official should be a member of the planning commission. To coordinate the theory part and practical part, immediately government may be good enough to make all the ministers, members of the planning commission, and not import anybody from outside. This will immediately help in coordination between the planners of the planning commission and the executors who are the ministers, so that one cannot blame the other if anything goes wrong. As you have rung the bell, I would not dilate on this further and shall conclude with this. 15 seconds slow.